So here we are in Bridge. I basically went out for an hour this evening and just took a few pictures. I took the Z6 and my 500 PF because I hadn't used it for ages. Anyway, I was thinking I'm not going to get much in an hour, but I thought I might try and find a blue rock thrush and see if I can get a nice portrait shot with a nice background. So I drove around near my house and I did come across a couple of blue rock thrushes, and this one let me get very close, which was on a fence. Now I knew immediately that I wasn't going to include the fence, so I knew that I'm not going to take a full body shot. I was not even considering photographing those legs, so I knew I would crop the upper part of the body but still try to get some of that lovely red breast with the blue. As you can see, these are beautiful birds, very common here in Okinawa. Now at one point I got out of my car and he let me get very close. I must have been literally 4 meters away from him. He didn't mind. There were some green trees in the distance and there were also some lighter yellowy green trees in the background. And I positioned myself to have those yellowy trees in the background. So I always thought in my mind that was the image I want. Okay, so I've just taken it out of Bridge and put it into DxO Pure Raw, and it's now rendering that. This is unbelievable on my new computer. That took about 5 seconds. My old computer, that would have taken forever. Anyway, it's now open in Adobe Camera Raw. So I think first I just zooming in, checking that everything is okay, and it's already a nice picture. But I just want to edit it a little bit. As you can see, it's ISO 10,000. I didn't even realize that the ISO was that high. I wasn't even looking at my settings, but it was kind of late, so maybe, obviously it is. Anyway, what I've done is I've selected just the bird, and I've done a few minor selections. I've raised the shadows. I've brought the highlights down just to accentuate that blue and red in the bird. Brought the blacks down a little bit, brought the whites up. And because it's red and blue and temperature is blue and tint is red, I think I slightly adjusted those. Now I have selected the background and I'm just bringing up the shadows and the whites and the blacks. It didn't select all the background at the bottom. That doesn't matter. I'm going to crop that out anyway. So I'm just lightening the background. Anyway, so now I'm back to just the global adjustments. Vignette, that was a mistake. I always do just a little bit of dehaze, just a habit I've got, just to separate a little bit the subject from the background. Then I just made it a little bit brighter, put the highlights down again, probably raised the shadows a little bit, just to make it a little bit brighter, because I always tend to go to slightly brighter images if possible, especially when doing sort of portraits of songbirds. As I said, this is a blue rock thrush, a very common bird here in Okinawa, but as you can see, the male bird, which has that red breast, is a stunning bird. Now we are in Photoshop. This is all in real time, so it's a pretty quick edit. I knew immediately when I was taking the shot that I was going to crop it, and I had this crop in my mind, just the top part of the body, just to get that right, with a nice light colored background, green or yellow preferably. So I'm just getting that crop right, just sort of moving it around just to think, I know there's that rule of 2/3, but I don't really pay too much attention to that, just what feels right for me. And is that an 18:6? Yeah, I don't know. Whatever, it's just so it's pretty sharp, as I said, 10,000 ISO, but, definitely good enough. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go into Topaz Labs and go to Topaz Sharp. And this is another thing about the Mac. I mean, Topaz used to take me ages on my old computer because it really does take time. Again, it's just instant on this Mac. So it just makes my life so much easier. It hasn't really done much, but it's just done a little bit. And what I do is I usually then add a layer mask. I then invert it, Command I on the Mac, so it's back to the original image. And then I just, with a paintbrush, I just add in the sharpening where I want it. So I'm not even touching the background, for example, but just a little bit. And it's only at opacity 16%. So it's very soft. It's not major. So I'm just adding a little bit because Topaz can add a few artifacts. And, if you pixel peep, you'll probably still find a little bit of artifacts. But I just sort of select where I want to add the sharpening, and just add it with, as I said, low opacity on the brush. And I think it didn't really make much difference actually. I think the DxO, when I put it through DxO, I don't use any sharpening, but I think it does sharpen a little bit anyway. But it's amazing how well it gets rid of the noise. It really is amazing, DxO. So yeah, just finishing up the sharpening there. And what did I do then? Then I probably will just merge down. Yeah, I merged down. I then go into adjustments. I'm probably just going to brighten the image just slightly. Yeah. And I just add just a little bit, and then I might just contrast a little bit. You can do curves for this, but it's just more effort. You can just basically do an easier version with the contrast and the brightness. Then I go down to file info. I uploaded a template of sort of bird photos there. Did that so those tags automatically appear in that box. It wasn't taken with the OM1, which is what I usually use, so I just delete that information. Maybe add a few more tags, probably specify that it was taken with a Nikon. And then I will save that. So that metadata will be there forever. Yes, so I put the name of the bird in, and of course the Latin name, and that metadata will always be in that file. Sorry, the first part of the video, it was all very quick, and now it's kind of slow. But yeah, so yeah, it was just fun to go out for an hour. This is a beautiful bird that I photographed many times, but a beautiful bird's a beautiful bird, right? So it's just fun to always see this, the male especially, and they can be so tame. This guy let me get so close, and it was just nice to take the Nikon Z6 out for a bit of a run, because I just never use it really. Should probably sell it. But yeah, it does make lovely files, and I think that looks pretty good. And that's basically, if I just cropped the original straight out of camera image, it wouldn't look much different from that. So I think this is basically, yeah, okay, I just added a little bit of, I just brightened the area around the eye. I just felt there was a little bit dark there. So what I've done again, I just applied a global lightener. I lightened the image globally, then put a mask, then inverted it back to the original, and then I just selectively add in the adjustments I made. And you can see there's just a subtle difference, but I think it makes it better. Just bring a little bit of life to the eye. Yeah, I'm still getting used to this new computer, but it's just making my editing so much easier, both video and photo. And it's only the 14th Mac, which I've got connected to a nice big monitor, 4K monitor. So I just take the Mac with me, and I can just edit on the go, and then just use it basically as a desktop at home. Love that. Saving it into a local file. And yeah, I think that's about it. So yeah, just a very quick edit of a pretty simple shot, just of a portrait of a bird. And this also shows that, when you go out, and if you go into a local area where you know what kind of birds there are, it's always a good idea just to have exactly the kind of image you have in your mind that you want. And I knew when it was on that particular fence, the fence didn't look very nice, but that didn't bother me in the slightest. I knew what I was going for, and that was that tighter portrait shot. The sunset was lovely, actually. About 20 minutes after I took shots of that blue rock thrush, I just drove 2 minutes down the road to the beach, and the sun was lovely. Anyway, I think that's about it. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care, and please subscribe. Bye.